Yeah, let's start with that one.
All right, so I might get excommunicated from this, so don't like share this abroad. But like I actually teach people to deadlift with a more rounded upper torso. And the why behind it is because most people don't have the oblique and psoas capacity to be in what CrossFit tends to call an neutral spine. In fact, if you watch really carefully and look at a lot of the demonstrations, like even on YouTube, like the red shirts are doing neutral spine, they're actually an overextension. Like a lot of like the GHD sit up, like a lot of those exercises, people are actually an overextension versus neutral. Now the reason, so, and this is why you have such a uh prevalency of people having back pain in the deadlift is because they're using their back for everything. Like everything is hyperextended, everything's what's moving. I took a class, the first class I took over at Wildland when I started coaching at Wildland Coeur d'Alene, I took a the workout had deadlifts in it. And my partner, I was in like a group of three. One of my lifting buddies, he's like, my back, I don't like that. And I was like, can you want to try something? He's like, sure. I was like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. Let me zoom in so you can see what I told him to do. Here. All right, here's what I said. Okay. Instead of being like this with your back like this, I want you to start more like this. And instead of trying to break the bar, the coach was saying, break the bar. And I go, oh, okay. Well, it's not my circus. I'm not gonna say anything. But I said for this guy, I was like, hey, instead of trying to break the bar, I want you to put your hands here and squeeze in. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. What do you feel when you do that? He goes, I feel this. And I was like, good. I'm like, do you feel anything back here? He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool, perfect. So you're gonna squeeze in like this, and you're gonna roll your shoulders forward just slightly like this. He's like, okay. So he does the deadlift. And I look at him, I go, "Does it feel any different?" No, he said, that feels different. And I go, is that a good different? He's like, yeah, I didn't feel my back. I was like, cool. I just left it like that, because I'm not gonna like coach over the coach who's coaching. But like after the class, the guy's like, wow, that was cool. Like my back didn't blow up at all. I'm like, awesome. That's exactly what we're going for. So here's why that works, okay? When you and have you ever noticed too that just if you don't teach people to do this, their body's naturally gonna do this anyway?
Hmm.
Have you seen like people set up at the deadlift, right? It looks like this, and they start and they immediately go there,
Yeah.
right? The reason for it is because the body is frontally loaded. So it's actually stronger for the oblique and the psoas to go into a shortened state. And so technically that's their neutral spine. So for me, when I deadlift, my shoulders are slightly rolled forward like this. And you're going to see that I'm a little bit more roundy in the back. However, when I get to the top, it stays the same. So if you look closely at my back's not going to change. I'm going to stop right there. Is it going to count in a CrossFit competition? No. Am I doing a CrossFit competition right now? No. Do I want my butt to blow up? Yes. Do I want my back to blow up? No. So it really just depends on your intention, right? A deadlift is meant to develop your posterior chain, which is your glutes and hamstrings. Okay. Ever since I started doing the deadlift that way, my back doesn't blow up, my butt does. My butt is on fire. Like one of the things I do once a week is I do 2159 deadlifts strapped in. So I can't like put the bar down and my butt is like crazy, like just hot and swollen. Just like the blood flow. And
Okay.
let me zoom in again one more time, just so you can see the curvature of my back. So I literally will start in this position here. I'm more rounded like this. And if you watch my back closely, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna squeeze my butt, my back doesn't change shape. Boom. What you want to look for is you want to look for people doing this. They come up and then their back changes. See my back change there? I'm not
Hmm.
gonna move anywhere. And that's usually what people do. So I think press with the legs, squeeze the butt. Or if you want to think of it this way, it's leg press, glute bridge, leg press, glute bridge. And even like that, with no weight, I can feel my butt even more. I have to be careful though. Like when I took that class, the coach walks up to me and no rep me a couple times. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm playing CrossFit right now. I'll do the CrossFit deadlift. So this is what I did just to make him happy. I did this. I stood up. Oops. Sorry. Not meant to do that. I did it the way I normally do it. So I went here, I stood up, and then just for his benefit, I leaned back just a little bit there. But at least when I did it that way, you know that I stood up with my butt and then leaned back when my spine when my body was unloaded. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So I was making sure that I was opening with my glutes, and then just to appease the coach, I rolled my shoulders back just to make him happy instead of staying here.
So I do feel like though that even with that curvature, you come up, if you squeeze your glutes, your shoulders are still just over the bar. And if you're squeezing your glutes correctly, I don't feel that in my back at all. Why do you stop a little bit short of that full extension?
Why do I need that full extension? What benefit do I get from it besides making it obvious to someone that I finished a rep?
Once you get past that point, does it become about task completion as opposed to benefit?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Like, why am I going to release tension? Like, I don't need to release tension. Like, the whole point is to stay on tension the entire time. So this is where you kind of have to have like that mental shift, right? Am I going for task completion or am I going for tension? And I always tell people it's like, going for tension is like handing me $100 bill, a crispy $100 bill, because you're gonna get the right muscles and you're gonna get the benefit from the exercise itself, right?
Okay.
Task completion is like, okay, just give me $100, however you want. It could be $100 bills, it could be 1,000 pennies or whatever it is. I've done the math. You know what I mean? So like the thought process is different. If the range of motion requirement is a range of motion requirement, you can complete the range of motion requirement doing it a plethora of different ways. If the goal is to get your glutes nice and strong, then you use your glutes. Right? Again, it goes back to how is more important than the what.
Yeah.
So that's kind of for me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do these deadlifts to get the benefit, but to make the coach happy, I will finish full range of motion after I did it the way that I wanted to. That makes sense?
It does. The question then also becomes too, like, why aren't people finishing the range of motion? Are they being sloppy or are they being intentional? And that's what you have to kind of like figure out as a coach as well. It's obvious when they're being sloppy.
Most of the time it's because they don't know what they're doing. They're not paying
Yeah.
attention. Most
Yeah.
people are very disconnected and they don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned it because Emmy and I the other day, we were on FaceTime because I was in San Diego and she wasn't, and we were just watching her old videos from her Instagram. And I was just kind of found this one video where she and this friend were doing deadlifts, and I go, "Oh, I remember this workout. Not a single deadlift was completed." Because like every rep was like this. It's just I was like, if you want to do it the CrossFit thing, then you need to lean all the way back, or even like in a weightlifting competition, same thing, right? The end range of motion is you have your shoulders behind the bar, but then
Yeah.
that's a primary difference, right? There's a difference between training and competing.
Yeah.
The reason why the shoulders behind the bar thing exists is because we need something measurable and objective in order to determine whether the rep counted for competition. And that's kind of a mental thing that people have to break from is not every day is a competition day. It's a training day.
Most days should be training days unless you're prepping for something.
But yeah, even still, it's like um yeah.
So,
Okay.
question,
Yep.
because like our one of our coaches and actually a couple of our coaches and a couple of members are very very like when they well some of the members they help they're like proud chest and like their proud chest makes a big arch to the back and I'm just like no.
Yeah.
So why but and then one of our coaches slash owners he's always telling people proud chest chest up and I'm like how do you subtly tell them like you know how to chest up you just need to be lat engaged and stable spine.
That's hard. I mean, again, it's like I was telling you earlier. How many times have I at a CrossFit Level 2 seminar stopped someone and say, "Why?"
Yeah.
Oh, because someone told me. I go, "Okay." A lot of times people just do that because that's what they've heard.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably took a CrossFit Kids class. Proud chest, like it's not wrong, but it's really about context. Like, when do you want a proud chest? How do you create the proud chest? Right? We talked about there's a conversation about this or head through the window. Oh my gosh. There's so many like cues that people use, but don't know the why behind them. Right? A proud chest is perfectly good cue if the person is like this,
Right.
right? Because they're frumpy, unless that is their true neutral spine, right? So it's only a bad cue if it's used out of context or it's used in an inappropriate way based on the context.
So you could do like proud chest if during the movement they have fluctuation of their spine when they start that way.
Correct.
So like if they go that way, then halfway through they go that way, you could like adjust maybe proud chest at the start because that's how they go finish or
Yeah,
move towards.
I would say like proud chest, again, it's contextual,
Yeah.
right? If this is their neutral, then I'm gonna let them have that as their neutral. I'm not gonna tell them proud chest if it means this. So I guess the prime directive is proud chest, but don't overarch your back.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to how is more important than the what. But yeah, that's a hard one, Jody, because a lot of people they just memorize cues, but they don't know the why behind them. So, and then also you're kind of battling a situation of just lack of education or lack of understanding.
Have you ever heard? I remember. Do you know Jesse Ward?
Love Jesse Ward, yeah.
He told me like great key I use a lot is for when people start their deadlifts to go, you know, lat engage. But he's like squeeze in, press down on the bar,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like squeeze in, press out. So squeeze in, press down.
and press down. Yeah.
'Cause what do you feel when you press down? What turns
Oh,
on when you press down?
oh your lats.
Yeah, and then when you squeeze in, what turns on?
Oh, everything else.
Your back. Yeah. So yeah, it's like
It's like that all the time. I'm like press down on the bar and hold that.
yeah, press down is a good one to keep people out of their traps.
Uh huh. Oh, I so much. I can I just cut people's traps out. Just take
You
them
don't
out.
want to cut them out. You just want to teach them how to use their thing.
Finally, somebody asked, I was like, why do I need my traps? I'm like, just shrug. But we don't need to shrug. I'm like, to raise your shoulders, but
If you
not far.
really if you really want to get geeky about it, right? Your traps are efferent muscle, which means you can't contract your trap without moving something first.
Right.
It's not like the pec where I can be stationary. You see, I'm flexing my pec. It's not moving anywhere, but I'm flex. So there's a difference between and sorry, I misspoke. The trap is an afferent, so AFFEERNT. That means like it's a muscle that sends messages to the brain. An efferent or efferent, either way I remember it's F it, I control it, is the pec. I can contract my pec without moving anything else. My brain is telling pec to move. I can't tell my trap to contract without something moving.
Yeah.
So your trap is actually by definition it's a reactive muscle, not one. So I mean I can flex my bicep on command, right? So that's a difference, right? You want people to learn how to contract the muscles that are meant to be contracted versus allowing them to always use the muscle that's its role is to kick in as a last resort. It's like everyone's using their last resort muscles instead of their first resort muscles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or another way that I describe it, it's like your group A muscles versus your group B. Everyone's always or like their B team. That's called let's do that. Like because you play sports, right? Like your A team versus your B team.
Yeah.
You're basically like if you're not using your pec, for example, that's like letting your star player just sit on the bench all the time. And that's why your backups are always mad because your backups aren't meant to do all that work. They're meant to just fill in. So that's another way I think of it.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, I figured you would. You're sporty. So it's like you're not gonna have your starters sit on the bench all day long. What the heck? But that's what things like I'll say it. That's crossover symmetry stuff. It teaches your B team to be the primary movers when they're not supposed to be. I mean, they're really just trying to sell a product, bless their hearts. It's not like, anyways. Any other questions on the deadlift and positions for the deadlift?
That was so helpful.
Cool. Awesome.